Hello there, Seraph17 once again. This is my Call of Juarez Gunslinger, True West difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 2, Fistful of Hot Lead. So at the beginning of this, when you break out of the jail, which I've edited out, you're going to be given this sheriff's shotgun. And the shotgun on this game is brutal. It's really, really good. It's obviously shit at range, which is video games 101, and it doesn't really make too much sense because shotguns might not be precision weapons, but they're still effective at range. Unless you saw the barrel off so that the pellets are effectively like a rainbow. But this mission it's pretty simple, pretty fun. You're going to be running across some rooftops, going through the town, doing some shooting. And it's one of those things where you're going to need to use your pistol for range and the shotgun for up close. I mean, you can use either, but that's just how it's going to benefit you better. And you'll notice that there's planks of woods that are falling all around us and showing us the way to go. It's to do with the narrative scheme in this game. The game is told via literally stories. It's told in retrospect. It's all flashbacks, and it's got kind of an interesting delivery where there's moments where the game will rewind and tell you how things really happened. There's moments where stuff will pop up like a fairy tale book, and it's a cool idea. They've definitely committed to it. As I mentioned at the end of the last video, the guy who talks through the entire game, like the conversations that are happening, they're a little bit too much. You know, it's all topical, it's all conversation like it would have been at that day, and that is fine, but it's too literal all the time. Like, sometimes there just needs to be action. It doesn't always have to be, and then I shot this guy with my shotgun, and then I got shot in the face. You know, it's not necessary, and I turned it off. I turned it off for the purpose of the guide, just to make it easier to play, and just to make it easier for me to commentate over, because if the guy had been talking all the time, I'd have to lower the game audio even more than I already do, and I lower the audio quite a lot. But I don't know if I'm just blind, or if it's just the haze of Western, but I have problems seeing people in these dusty towns. It just makes it difficult, because they blend in, and like that right there. A lot of those shots admittedly were off, but a few of them were bang on, and I got no hit markers or anything. It's kind of frustrating, especially early on when you're reloading a lot. You'll notice this pistol reloads forever, and it always reloads, because all the time I'm a compulsive reloader in first-person shooters, and on this game, at first the reloading takes forever. You will be able to spec into guns or into perks that give you the ability to speed it up, and I would recommend it, because you will spend more time reloading than you do shooting your gun. I guarantee that. Just because the way that this kind of difficulty works, we're going to be in cover regenerating for a lot of the time, so it just makes sense. And every so often he does stuff like that, which is cool. It's little animations when you get a kill. You can cancel out of them if you need to use your weapon, which is useful and smart. And if you ever see red barrels knocking around, this is a video game. Red barrels signify explosions, and you can use them to get some easy combos, build up that experience, and work towards another level. But a lot of people listening to this are probably wondering, ow, that one stung. You've got to love the up close and range shotgun stuff. That noise just then as well. What just played. I'm not too sure if that signifies that the bullet time ability is regenerated to full, or that you've got full concentration so that when you get shot you can do the whole dodge a bullet move. It means one of those two bars is full, and on this difficulty that's the only real notification that you have, because there's no HUD. So one of the easiest things to do is forget about that bullet time ability, because it's not there. It's not up in the top right, laughing at you saying use me type deal. And that's one thing I want people to try and always remember. If you're having a tough time, use that ability. If you're a bullet away from dying and you know the checkpoint's miles away, use that ability. It will keep you alive. It doesn't last very long, but it will keep you alive. That right there is me killing a guy, and his bullet from his gun as he died hit me, which is just tells you how accurate the enemies are on the difficulties when you rank it up a bit. But like, did you see that first bullet was bang on? That first bullet was perfect. The only thing I can think of is perhaps there's geometry clipping that stops you from being able to get those kills. Or if you shoot the chickens, you do get 5 points towards your combo, and if you really needed a desperate way of keeping your combo alive, I'm sure that would probably help. But this is not me going to show you how to be skillful and get high scores and do all the rank stuff. This is literally me just getting you through the game on the hardest difficulty. I also picked a new game, so I didn't have any inherited abilities, so it would be a guide that can appeal to any level of player who's playing on any difficulty from a new game. So one of the things that really bugs me is when people do New Game Plus walkthroughs, you know, for guides. And I've done one myself, because that's all you can do with some games. It's just, that doesn't really help everybody, and I want my guides to have an appeal to a very wide audience. Because the very reason that we make these videos is to try and help the person struggling, or to try and entertain, depending on what your objective is. And if I'm running around with all the abilities and you don't have those abilities, my video is not going to help you. At the same time, I'm going to try and express the abilities I want you to pick up, which I believe will be the most useful. And you know, everybody's going to have their own abilities that they believe to be the best. There's going to be people who like using dual weapons. There's going to be people who love the shotguns, you know. It's a very preferential kind of game. But it's the basic strategies that I'm going to be delivering that are the things that I hope are going to be what you know, transpires to everybody's game, what translates to their playstyle. Like, case in point right here, using cover. Cover is so important on a first-person shooter. Excuse me. And as long as you've played one before, on a harder setting, you know this. So I don't have to say, you know, stay behind the crates, stay behind the wagons. It's one of those things where we're at a stage now, in this generation of consoles, and possibly in the next, because, you know, the first few games they're announcing are all fucking shooters, you just know it. But we've been playing these kind of games for a long time, and until innovation happens and they change mechanics drastically, they're all going to function very similarly. So, you know that if you put something between you and the computer, they can't hit you. You also know that you have a couple of seconds when you bob out of cover to get your shot off and not die. With that knowledge, you can do 90% of every first-person shooter ever created. Everything else is with checkpoints and with spawn knowledge. Like, we're at this point now where we know when we move forward into a level, we're going to trip an invisible tripwire that's going to make enemies turn up, and we're going to be put into a situation where we have to respawn. We have to react. Where do we go? Do we hide? Do we engage? Do we run backwards? Do we have enough time? Do we die immediately? Then do it a different way when we come back? Like, games at this point are extremely formulaic when it comes to the genre-specific stuff. And this first-person shooter is no different. So if you're aware of how these tropes work, and you've exploited them before, then you're going to have a lot of fun with this game, because you're going to know exactly how it wants you to play, and boom, you'll not have too much of an issue. But if you're not that player, and you're not aware of the deeper mechanics that are happening all around, then perhaps you're going to need a little bit of incentive to get through the levels. You're going to need a little bit of help to understand how this stuff works. And this section here is a great example, because as we are moving up this boardwalk type place, there are a lot of enemies, but they're very hard to see, and they can all see you, so it forces you to kind of rush into cover. And when you're running forward, you're risking your life and limb. Like, some guy is nailing me here, and I have no idea where he is, because the damage indicator doesn't really tell you direction. Like, I'm looking over here to see a guy who's shooting me, and there isn't one. It's just the bullet on the screen is misleading me, and it's one of the things I don't like about it. But if you're a Call of Juarez fan, I consider myself a fan of the series, even though I haven't played the first game, which, you know, to some people is really terrible to admit. If you wonder as well, when you aim and you have your focus, you will freeze people. It's not on the spot, it slows time a little bit, it gives you that extra opportunity to hit them. It works really well with a rifle, so I would definitely use that to your advantage. That's why I picked it up. Pistols at long range, all they do is frustrate me. I don't recommend them at all, even though I'm using this because I have no choice on this mission, because they've took his rifle off us. But Call of Juarez 1, I didn't play it. I played the demo for it, but I didn't play it. It was okay, the demo. There was problems with the jumping sections. I didn't really like them. Call of Juarez 2 I thought was a fantastic game. I thought it looked great, it ran on a good engine, it had good gunplay. I had a thing for cowboys. I've always had a thing for cowboys, you know. I'm just an openly gay man when it comes to the cowboys. But the West is a fascinating period for me, and there aren't enough games, in my opinion, that take advantage of that time period. So I enjoyed Bound in Blood a lot. I got the Cartel, and I hated it. God, I think that's one of the worst games I played all that year. And it makes no sense to me that Techland could go from how good Bound in Blood was to how bad the Cartel was. And when this game was coming out, I didn't really have too much interest in it, because I thought all the people who worked on Bound in Blood had left the company. You know, maybe they have two different teams, and it was the A team making Bound in Blood and the B team making the Cartel. Who knows? What I do know, though, is if you have any fears about this game, judging, you know, solely based off of your experience with that Cartel modern game, I wouldn't worry at all. This game feels like the Call of Juarez you know and you enjoy. You know, it plays well, it's fun. I had a smile on my face the entire time on my first playthrough, and not many games get me with that, just that simple joy of playing a game. And this bit is a shitstorm. I get stuck clipping, that guy finishes me off with a bullet, but I managed to dodge it and get back into cover and get my life back. So, you know, clipping in first-person shooters has been a problem from the beginning of time, and it's not like they can just turn it off, because there has to be some semblance of realism. It just gets a little frustrating. But there's a couple guys left here, and then we're going to go into a slow-motion duel. And I believe in this next duel, you might be able to control your hand. You definitely cannot move your body. The body movement comes much later. And there's a couple more buckshots taking out these fools. And I believe it's going to do a transition in a moment as we push over to this barn to the gunfight. So here we go. And yes, you can move your hand. You notice how my hand is super far away from my holster? That means I can move it, but I don't think I've realised. And if you see the hand move, it's going to be me noticing it. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. I realise I can move my hand. I move the hand because what you need to do here, if you don't understand it, you need your hand over your gun all the time to increase your speed, and you need to have the circle on the opponent to increase your focus. And that was a dishonourable pull, but that was bullshit. The guy was drawing his fucking gun. Man, that's not dishonourable. But hey, well. And a tip as well, if you don't want to do those fights legit, and you keep losing them, as soon as you hear that heartbeat, pull your gun and kill them. You know, if you want to just get through the game, there's no such thing as honour or any of that bullshit standards. Just get it done and get it cleaned up. Well, thanks for watching, and you take care now.